anyway, man, this like virus stuff is like it's like straight out of a movie, man. Like there's no one on the streets. Like for some reason here at Slingshot, we're just pretending everything's fine.
Like
We just all keep coming to work and keep podcasting as if anybody's listening.
Oh my god.
let's see. So far, at least 3 people.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah. Once they start filing in.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Downtown's like a ghost town, man. Even at night, it's like all the clubs and all that stuff is closed.
Mhm.
It's just dark. It's
Yeah.
creepy.
Traffic.
All the
lack-
bars are closed.
Yeah.
A lot of restaurants are shut down.
Mm-hmm.
Lack thereof traffic, I should say, has been pretty nice.
Starbucks in giant letters across the entire building says open. They don't give a fuck.
Oh, damn.
They're like,
That's
you-
actually really wrong.
They're like, you still need your coffee. We
Yeah.
know that you still
We
need your
know.
fix.
Yeah, I had to call my parents yesterday because my dad just doesn't, old school guy, especially being Mexican. He just wants to go to work. He he just doesn't believe any of it. I'll be fine. I'm like, dude, you have heart issues. Like if you get any kind of like anything, like you're done for. So I had to call my mom after we got off the call, whenever the heck that was,
No
with
one wants to be-
Gabrielle Lyon.
Yeah,
I'm
no
like,
one
hey.
wants to be told what to do, Like,
Yeah.
That's the hard part.
So I used Gabrielle's name
Yeah.
because she's working with my mom. And I'm like, hey, your doctor says you guys need to stay home. She's like, oh. I'm like, yeah.
Right, yeah, it matters where the source comes from. I mean, I've been asking people just to, play out the scenario of like, look at the way things are right now, and what if it's that way for 3 months?
Mhm.
What if it's that way for 6 months? What if it's that way for 9 months? What if it's this way for a year? I think it'd be now's the best time to start to figure out how to plan for that. And on top of that, if things do go back to, quote unquote normal, I think the scare should waken something up in you where you're like, yeah, how am I supposed to live and make money and protect myself, my family, my loved ones in these times of need? Like, is there a different offshoot of a business I could run that could be bulletproof? Is there something else I can be looking into to make money? Like hopefully you could still resume back to what you were doing, but maybe you can potentially think of some other things or other ways that you can provide value for your family that aren't the same as what you're doing now, because maybe this will happen again.
And if there's any time to be able to do that, like it's now. Like a lot of us are going to be stuck at home at night. You're not going to be doing a lot of the normal things you were doing. So there's a lot of projects you could start. One thing I was thinking was like, older individuals, if you like live in a building with older people, like an apartment building or something, or whatever, see if you could help them grab their groceries or something. Because I can imagine like being 50 something, 60 something, 70 something, and hearing everything that's going on. It's got to be scary to want to go to the grocery store. It's got to be really scary to just go fucking buy groceries, because you're just like, I touched something and touched my face,
Right.
So I think this is like a really good time where like, everyone seems to like really be coming together as like just a massive community. But I think our group, the younger group, that's fairly healthy, we need to be seeing what we can do for older individuals.
Check in on a neighbor, maybe.
Yeah,
without infecting them, of course.
exactly.
Yeah, it's I don't know, man. It's hard to make sense of, because it's like everything that we know of could be changed. And like, if you were to think about if the virus was, let's just say the virus was like 10 times worse than it is now, which the virus, the way it currently is, doesn't appear that there's going to be any change. It looks like it's going to be the same. But what if something else came along at the same time? Or what if another country was like, hey, like, now's the time to attack the United States. Now's the time to, like, we have a lot of great resources. I mean, I don't see that happening, but I don't know.
Has your mind been worrying on doomsday scenarios?
Yeah. I just think I think it's smart for people to not cause themselves to like really worry, but they should be thinking of like, okay, this is already happening, and what if it carried on for a while? when they said that they were going to shut down school, I'm like, okay, school's done for the year. I already kind of recognized that. But now what's in action? Nothing. Like they don't have any plan. They're not thinking about August. And, when school supposed to start up again, that's where my mind would immediately switch to, and I'm hopefully my wife and I will get involved with our community and try to see, try to ask questions. And I think other people are listening to this. You should be asking questions and also not being a pain in the ass. You should be thinking of solutions that you think are viable that maybe your kids' school could figure out, because these are all things that we gotta figure out, because I don't think anything's going to change in the course of a week or two, and I don't know how long this will carry on for.
Mm-hmm.
I think everyone's just hoping that it's just going to go away, but it might not.
I think China, I don't know if we could look this up, but I think China's like started resuming normal daily life, right?
Yep.
Like
10 weeks though.
10 weeks? Like it was like a hard quarantine for 10 weeks?
I believe so. And that's what I'm asking people. Are you prepared for 10 weeks? And then also we're in the United States where you have a lot more freedom. It might take a little longer than 10 weeks.
It's definitely going to take longer than 10 weeks. Did you hear about Florida?
No.
Did you see that? So I think it was St. Patty's Day yesterday. You just see this plane flying by and it's just like recording. Hella people were partying on the beach.
Oh, shit.
Hella people were partying on the beach. At Florida, I was telling Andrew, there's hella old people there.
Oh, yeah, true.
People go there to retire. So where was that video? Was it like on YouTube or?
I think it was on the news, and then I think I saw it on like Instagram or something.
I'll check YouTube.
But yeah, just like look up Florida beach party or whatever. But like people were just out there living it up, and just like you said, people don't like being told what to do.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, and it's a lot of people still think it's fake. You know what I mean? That it's just not. It's not real. But this is
suggesting stuff to people and having them come to their own conclusion. Usually works best.
Mm-hmm.
But telling somebody what they can and can't do really. We've seen it a lot with diet.
Yeah.
If you said, hey, you know what? I think this would be a great idea for you to, like with your mom with the keto diet. Mom, this would be really good. She probably heard you talk about some versions of that for a while. And then when it came to be her own decision, she's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to make this choice and I'm just going to do this way. And now she's talking about how beneficial it is. She's probably chirping it up to her friends and other family members, probably super excited about it. But she had to kind of like get there on her own. If you said, Mom, you can't eat carbs. She wasn't.
That doesn't work that way.
She wasn't having any of that, right?
It doesn't work that way exactly.
Oh shit! Looks like a CrossFit competition.
It kind of does.
Everyone's straight up just like,
this guy's thoroughly confused.
Oh man!
Because didn't Steffi Cohn, she had posted something like this too?
Did she?
Like I think she showed like a party or cruiser party boat, and everybody's just like shoulder to shoulder, just going nuts out in Florida. But look at that.
Damn.
Man, see, so this is why it's gonna take us longer than 10 weeks.
We're idiots.
Maybe China's government, their dictatorship, had something right.
Yeah. Hey, how about Mexico saying like, hey, we're gonna close the borders on you guys.
That's the most ironic thing ever.
They're like, keep building that wall. It works out perfect for both of us.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, it's definitely some weird shit. I saw CT Fletcher with a good post this morning. You guys see his post?
I saw you shared it. I didn't see the post.
Let's see if we can throw
absolutely.
it up for people, because CT's always got good stuff to say. He's all fired up.
Yeah. Where's he live?
CT Fletcher is in like Los Angeles.
Yeah, like Long Beach area, I think. I remember.
Got it.
Who knows where he actually lives?
That's also true.
Who knows?
Oh my God, there's so many.
He's not really, like, officially, he's not allowed to leave Compton because he's Compton Superman.
It's true. Did I just hear you sniffle?
How dare you?
All right. I think you're probably a carrier.
Oh, definitely.
I think
I'm
you're
carrying
a carrier.
something.
Yeah.
I would be.
Yeah.
I definitely would be. Passing around everybody.
Shit. But I don't know what I'm going to do.
I love his voice, man. He somehow
Hey,
sounds super kind, even though he says "motherfucker."
He needs to read like audiobooks and
I
stuff.
know.
I would love that.
Oh, that would be pretty good. Oh,
All you motherfuckers out there whining and shit. But I don't know what I'ma do. My gym is closed. I don't know what I'ma do. Well, look here. This is the first thing I want you to do. Shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear that goddamn shit. Fuck your goddamn excuses. First thing you can do, goddammit, is fall down in the front lean and rest position. And for you motherfuckers that ain't never been in the military, that's the push-up position, goddammit. And do some motherfucking push-ups, motherfucker. Or some goddamn sit-ups. Or some pull-ups. Or walk around the goddamn corner. Do something. Don't give me that goddamn shit about I can't do nothing because the gym is closed. Wipe them tears from your weeping ass eyes, motherfucker, and work for that goddamn shit. I don't give a fuck if you got a gym or not, motherfucker. Do something. You have no excuse for sitting on the fucking couch feeling sorry for yourself. Get your punk ass up and go to work, motherfucker. Find something to do. Make something to do. I don't give a fuck what you do. Chop wood, motherfucker. I don't give a shit, but do something. I command you. I ain't asking you a motherfucking thing. I'm the boss, motherfucker. I tell you. You don't tell me. And I told you to get your ass up and go to work. Hey,
I think
all
people
you
should play that every morning for themselves,
Seriously,
regardless of what's going on in the world.
that's like a great alarm. You could set that to be your alarm on your phone if you wanted it to be.
that'd be great.
But
He's a
damn,
savage.
wipe those tears out of your weeping ass eyes. I think that was my favorite part of that whole video.
He's amazing. I don't know how he says that, and like maybe just because I know him a little bit, but like I still think he sounds like super kind.
Yeah,
Like I don't know why, but it's like it for some reason it's like endearing, but he's calling you a motherfucker the whole time.
I think it's partially because you just know he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Like
Maybe
even
his facial expressions and stuff. He's like
he's kind of smiling at the same time.
Yeah. He's just a unique guy, man. He's got his own way about him, you know. But I think that message is great. Like, yeah, you know, you should be trying to do something. And we can't just sit around and do nothing. And I think that's the hard part, and that's why, you know, people like your dad, people like my parents, and maybe your mom and stuff like that too, where it's just like they don't mind, like, you know, staying home a little bit, but they're not going to really probably not going to really follow it all the way because they still want to interact with people.
Mhm.
You know, and you just think about the older generation, they're not as used to. You said sometimes your mom needs help with like the phone, right? The older generation, they're not as used to that communication. You know, they don't know you can just like easily Skype with somebody or FaceTime somebody or record a message for somebody or just send them a picture. Hey, doing great today. Hope you have a good day. Like, that's probably not their first thought. You know, their first thought is I gotta like call them. You know, I gotta see them in person.
Yeah.
And that makes it hard. You know, for me, I'm trying to stay away from like my parents and stuff like that because I don't know. I interact with a lot of people, and I've been a lot of places. You know, in the last several weeks and months and stuff. So I don't know. You know, being in Columbus and being in Mexico and who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I don't want to kill anybody. I know that.
Oh, for sure. But, you know, exactly like he was saying, there's a lot you can do right now. You know, you always see those guys that purely do calisthenics work. They're always jacked. Like they're always crazy jacked. So there's no reason why you can't do it at home. But I mean, a lot of places, like there's usually like little jungle gyms and stuff, you know, little parks,
Yeah.
right? And there's probably not going to be that many people at the park. So you could do some pull-ups, push-ups and stuff like that if you don't have any type of gym equipment. Some people an option, like some of the people that Nsima, stop touching your nose, bro. It itches. It really itches.
Trying to block that sneeze.
Like it's
The only way to block a sneeze is to really make like weird faces for a little while. You gotta like stretch your face out and crunch it.
I'll try to like even just hold my breath completely, and it doesn't really work. But like I think it just like prevents it from happening like right now. Because if I don't clear my throat, dude, I am like spitting venom all over the damn place.
My girl was telling me the other day, she's like, because I was like, God, I really touch my face a lot. She's like, yeah, no, I've told you this all the time. But at the end of the day, I think I've just been purposely strengthening my immune system. So I've been putting all of this crap in my body because I don't get sick usually. It's rare that I get sick, right? And it's because I think my immune system's so strong because I'm just such a dirty human being that I'm immune to a lot of
Pretty
stuff.
dirty.
I probably have a lot of weird bugs and stuff floating around in me. But anyway, like I was saying, like you could you could get yourself, you could go do some calisthenics stuff. And a lot of people I've been working with, been going to like Sports Authority and grabbing those Bowflex dumbbells. And they're like, just a few dumbbells at home or even a kettlebell. If you could grab a kettlebell somewhere,
yeah.
you could
Kettlebell's
do a
huge.
lot with a kettlebell.
Yeah.
Like a cool 30 or 40 pounder.
Mhm.
It's a lot you could do with that.
Yeah.
Full on workout.
Yeah, you can do like cleans, you can do snatches. I mean, you can YouTube all this stuff, which is very safe to do. You just YouTube it. You got cleans, you got snatches, you got swings, you got deadlifts. You can do like a goblet squat. I mean, that's a workout right there in and of itself. If it's light enough, you might be able to do like lateral raises with it. You might be able to do a few other exercises with it. You might be able to curl with it, depending on like if it's appropriate weight. And then you can certainly just, you can walk with it, right? They can do like a farmer's carry with it. You can walk with it overhead, which will burn more calories than just walking with it by your side. You can do lunges, and just what about lunges in general? Like you can do, walking lunges. You can kind of do like those kind of like scissor kick lunges, I guess you'd call them, where you switch legs back and forth and you don't even need any weight for that. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. You can just, you see a lot of girls, a lot of fitness competitors and stuff. They do a ton of body weight stuff and they look great. They get on stage, they look awesome. They build muscle, they get lean. Kind of like jump squats. You can, squat, the Hindu squat. You got, burpees.
Yep.
Nobody wants to do any burpees, but you can do burpees. You can do mountain climbers. You can do bear crawls. If you feel like you need a designated area to like work out, then maybe you go to a track and maybe you bear crawl on the track and do some lunges. And it's like, that's a hell of a workout right there.
Yeah, the way my legs feel today, it feels like I squatted pretty heavy, yesterday, by just doing lunges at the end of my upper body workout.
Yeah. I'm loving them.
Dude, it's crushing me, but it's so I was talking to Settlegate, Josh Settledge, about this. Like it's such an awesome thing because like I'm not going to get hurt lunging. Like I'm going to be totally fine. But I still wake up the next day or two feeling like I've squatted or I did like a crazy heavy hard workout. So like I still get that like that really like I don't know that the what's the fulfilling feeling of being sore from a really good workout.
Yeah.
And so I'm like pain free. I know I'm saying I'm sore, but like I'm not hurt, and it feels really really good. And I'm thinking like, dude, all I had to do was lunge. Not that lunges are easy, but in the grand scheme of things, like, okay, would I rather set up a bar and try to squat or like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just so much more simpler. Oh, look, there's the floor. I can get sore from just lunging. Like, it's so simple.
Yeah. There's a reason why, like before Corey Gregory, I'm going to be honest, I didn't lunge much. Like, I lunged every now and then, but not much. But there is a reason why a lot of us, including myself, have avoided lunges. Although it is an easy movement, it's a painful, like not painful, but it's just like
it is kind of painful. Like even before you do it, you're like, this is going to kind of hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Like the reversal to go like from one leg to the next, it kind of does hurt. You're like, like it doesn't feel good. Once you're warm and once you break past that, it doesn't really bother you that much. But in the beginning, it kind of sucks.
It does.
It sucks, and then like that feeling of like like when you're starting to lose your balance and you're trying to like I'm just lunging. Why is this? I can't stay. Like it's almost like demoralizing because you're like I'm just taking big steps. I can't fucking stay straight. Like this sucks.
Right.
But yeah.
But it's so good. I was lunging here yesterday too, so it's awesome. But grab a kettlebell somewhere. And if you can't do that, I was just thinking, what are some different ways that we can use some resistance with at-home stuff? I think a lot of people have like big water jugs, right? Those plastic water jugs. Fill that thing up with some water and go in your garage or backyard. You could hold that thing in front of you and do some squats. You can hold it above head and do some lunges, or you could hold it by you. You could do body, like backwards lunges and all that type of stuff with just that water bottle and it's shifting.
It's kind of fun.
Right? Yeah.
It can be kind of fun. I mean, you might have some, like, I don't know, people have like projects that they haven't worked on in forever. I mean, you can work on those. That's a form of exercise, but you can also, like, if you got some wood in the backyard or something that you heard CT Fletcher talk about chopping wood. I mean, you can do anything, but you can get a bundle of wood and just like walk with it. I mean, just anything you can think of. You have, buckets of paint around. I mean, you can do lateral raises with it. Then on top of that, just like trying to move your own body weight around, I don't think we understand how hard that is and how bad that sucks. I mean, if you were to do like, let's just say you had something to do a step up on, you have like a bench or you have some sort of sturdy box or sturdy something to like do a step up on. In between every step up that you do, you can do some like lateral raises, and you can even just hold your arms out
Yeah.
for like a duration of like 10 on each leg.
Mm-hmm.
Your shoulders are going to be on fire.
Oh, yeah.
Like you're getting your shoulders, your heart rate's getting elevated.
Yeah.
It might sound kind of corny in comparison to some of the stuff that we really love to do, throwing on a bunch of weight on like a deadlift or something like that. But it's still fun, and you're still going to get a lot of exercise out of it.
Mm-hmm. And this is where things like slowing down is going to help a lot. If you're doing a lot of body weight stuff, let's say that like you have a chair, right? And maybe you want to do a single leg squat down to the chair. You could do that. You could try to slow yourself down on every single rep. Trust me, after rep 3, bro, your quads are going to be on fire, right? Do multiple sets of that. In terms of push-ups, you could do tempo push-ups where you're rolling it down. If you think if you're too good for push-ups, try that shit. Your chest is going to be on fire.
Yeah, or I'm seeing a lot of people showing on Instagram like they're doing a push-up and then they're like touching each shoulder and then they go down and then they touch each shoulder. It's like that, those little things in between. Like now you're engaged your core. It gets to be really difficult. Even in between a push-up, just doing a plank can be really hard, because that's like the first thing. Like if you have strong arms, first thing to kind of give on you is kind of like your midsection. You're like, oh shit, you start to kind of bow in the middle a little bit.
Yeah.
You could do some planks, you could do some side planks. I mean, the list is like,
what are the things called when you're doing, we used to do them in soccer, you do a push-up, you come up and then you bring your knees up for like 10 or whatever.
mountain climber.
Mountain climbers.
Those are brutal. Those are horrible.
Those are horrible. But you could do that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Burns your shoulders, burns everything. Yeah, bear crawl is a really bad one. And then like the crab walk.
What was the crab walk?
Crab walk is where you're walking on your hands and your feet.
Oh,
with
yeah,
your hands
yeah.
kind of like behind your body.
Uh-huh.
Those are really hard.
Yeah. So
That shit's brutal.
yeah, no, there's a lot of stuff that could be done with your body right now.
Pull-ups,
guys.
perhaps. If you have somewhere to do a pull-up on.
Mm-hmm. If you can, I know some places, you can't get it shipped to you, but those like the pull-ups that you put on door frames, those are so clutch right now. Like those, if you can get your hands on them, and they're cheap, $20-$30. Go to Sports Authority. Other stores have it. Target has it. I know Target has those for sure. The door frame pull-up bar
with some handles and things like that, right? I know Randy Couture used to have like a thing like that, and other celebrities have sold things like that where you got some bands, and there's probably a lot of people that they can dust off their treadmill, the treadmill. They clear out all the junk that you have stacked on your treadmill at home. Probably, fire that thing up. Hopefully too much smoke doesn't come out of it, but you can probably get that thing going, and you can probably, I bet like a large majority of people, especially like a homeowner, I would imagine that you get some sort of representation of some sort of weight, whether it's just like one set of dumbbells or a plate. You have something somewhere that I'm sure you could utilize.
You know what?
Weighted vest could be really powerful.
That would be clutch.
Yeah, because it's unstoppable it's on, you can do so much different stuff with it. It's unbelievable.
Why don't I have a weighted vest? I'm just thinking about that now. Damn.
I don't know.
That sucks. But I was thinking this because when I was talking to I think New Jersey
government is going to extend your taxes this year by at least a month, if not longer, because of everything that's going on. So people can feel a little relaxed about that. But my dad usually has like a whole swarm of people come to him in the very beginning, and he's already gotten past all that. And then now it's a little slower, but then there's all the people that kind of like file like last minute and late and stuff like that. And so he'll have to kind of figure out that last part of it. And, we know that it can be active on paper and stuff like that for a while. So even people dropping it off, there's still some risk, but I would just say it's got to be decreased by quite a bit. But I don't know, but hopefully he can, I've been urging him to, encouraging him to change some of what he's doing, and we'll see how much he listens. But
yeah,
I just don't want to see people close to me. I mean, what a horrible way to go for anybody, really, right? A horrible way to go for anybody. But it seems like I guess we'll never be able to trace it back to like a situation, like we gathered at that one thing, and then he probably got it from there. You're not going to be able to do that, but it seems like maybe we can avoid it. So let's just, I guess, try our best that we can to avoid it.
Yeah, and because you can't track back exactly where it is, you'll think about every single scenario where you're like, why did I do that? Why did I go to that? We should have canceled this. We should have canceled that. And so when I was talking to my mom on the phone, I'm just like, hey, it's way better to be like way over the top safe than to be way over the top sorry. Like, because it could be that bad.
Yeah, it's a lot better to be like, oh man, we were super cautious with that.
Mm-hmm.
We acted ridiculous when that thing happened, but at least you're still able to talk about it.
Yeah.
At least you're able to still be around for it. It's really interesting. Swine flu wasn't really a thing. Like people just, not that they didn't care about it, but I mean, I don't know what the numbers show, but maybe just a lot less people died from it or something. People making jokes about this at the moment too, right? There's still a lot of humor going around, and I think that humor's good. I think that humor's always good. You know, I think
Guilty.
there's some things that aren't funny, right? There's certain things that just aren't, like 9/11.
Yeah, no.
9/11. There's not any tolerance or room for humor that I could think of that are appropriate at all, right?
Unless you're Pete Davidson.
Who's Pete Davidson?
You guys know who Pete Davidson is?
Well, comedians they can kind of do anything if done correctly. They can, if they're good, they can kind of do anything.
Okay, so Pete, he's on SNL. He's the guy who dated Ariana Grande, but his whole thing, and he always makes jokes about it in every single one of his comedy sets. His dad was one of the firefighters that died.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, but the thing is since he's a comedian, he made the most messed up way, but you can't help but laugh. Like,
Right, right.
Obviously it's a horrible situation, but yeah. But I like, that's the thing. In these situations, like, nothing's funny about 9/11, but in this situation, we know, yes, people are dying. We understand that. But I think if you can bring a little bit of humor out of it, that's not too horrible, as long as it's not, out of place or just really just fucked up.
I think it just where it hurts is where it's like sometimes jokes aren't worth it, right?
Yeah.
And that's a shitty spot to be in, because it's like, hey, can't we fuck around about this? Like, I just want to mess around. I don't want to mess around about somebody's ethnicity or someone's race, and then it hurts their feelings, or it paints me in some weird light, you know. I just want to have fun with making fun of Andrew because he's Mexican. I want him to make I want him to make fun of me for being fucking white and being ignorant towards stuff. Like I like that kind of stuff.
I
Like,
do too, man.
It's kind of fun, you know. It's fun and funny to me.
Yeah.
But then if it's hurting other people, and in this case, like if you had someone fucking die from coronavirus, like shit ain't funny, you know. And it's. But like we're saying, you know, hopefully. Hopefully we get past this thing, and then hopefully we can kind of look at it and maybe one day just, realize that it wasn't as detrimental as we thought, and hopefully a lot of people come out doing okay, on the back end of it. But we don't know at the moment. There's people that are saying they think everyone's going to get it.
Yeah, I think I don't know where I saw, but apparently it was someone said that up to 1 million Americans are probably going to get it. Right.
I almost wonder too. Like, this is weird, but there's a lot of like science behind the thought process of somebody when they get cancer. Like the Jeopardy guy, like they thought he was done, and he was like, "No, I'm not done." Like he like, I know you can't like will it to not happen, but there is some research that kind of shows that if you are positive and the people around you are positive, that it does help. How many Americans right now are maybe even like opening themselves up to coronavirus because they're like, you know what? I really haven't been feeling that good lately, and I'm a little bit warm. Like how many people have worried themselves into, because I think that's real. I think that you can worry yourself so much. Yeah, RPR.
Yeah, I did that before we started.
I think you can worry yourself into a spot that maybe, lowers your immunity a little bit, right? I'm accepting of that, and maybe a lot of people are flipping out so much that they're panicking into it almost.
Yeah. I don't think you can worry yourself to get the coronavirus, but you could definitely open yourself up to be more susceptible.
Accurate.
Yeah, that I totally agree with you.
I mean, think about it. Anxiety makes people like sleep horribly. And like there have been nights where I've been pretty anxious about certain things that have gone on, and my night of sleep was horrible. Now think about if that's your everyday, you're anxious about something and your sleep is consistently horrible. And what typically has the biggest effect on your immune system? The amount of sleep you get. So you're absolutely opening yourself up to that if you're constantly anxious about stuff like this, you know.
Mhm.
Yo, I think you need to get an Aura ring, buddy. I think you'd love this thing.
I would. I
This
know
thing-
I would.
This thing's tracking, and then like there's other things like Whoop, like the wrist thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But dude, like the information from this thing, like telling me about my sleep and stuff, sometimes it's super discouraging. Cause I'm like, fuck, because it'll tell you like you don't have it for the day kind of thing.
Oh,
So I actually look at it at the end of the day, because I'm
So,
like I
yeah.
don't want to like. Sometimes I'm training and I'm like, I'm gonna load up some good weight on a squat today, regardless of what this damn thing says. But the way I look at it is it's a cumulative, right? So it doesn't really matter what the reading is for the day. Like there's no reason to panic. It doesn't matter what your nutrition is necessarily for that specific day. It just matters that over time that you got it right. And so I'm kind of viewing sleep the same way. I want to have some good accuracy with the sleep, especially over a period of time. And the sleep is getting better. But it gives you kind of like a sleep score, like every day. Like I had an 85 the other day. I had like an 85 and then like a 70 and then like an 85. And then I didn't even look at today's
Mm-hmm.
because last night, I don't know why, I just kept waking up. I
Damn.
just woke up a bunch. And, you know, people ask me, like, why do you think you wake up so much? Are you worried about something? I'm like, I must be subconsciously worried about fucking something because I wake up all the time. Usually it's just to use the bathroom, but mainly like you're supposed to be sleeping deep enough to where the bathroom's not an option for you. Like you're out
Mm-hmm.
and your, bladder and all that stuff pretty much shuts down, just as it does sometimes in like exercise. Like sometimes every once in a while you really have to use the bathroom, but for the most part when you're doing jiu-jitsu for 60, 90 minutes, you're not like, man, I really got to pee, like out of nowhere, right?
Mhm.
Occasionally maybe it happens, but pretty rare, and your kidneys and a lot of stuff will kind of they'll kind of shut down. And for me, like with my sleep, I don't get enough deep sleep, but in having this ring and like kind of practicing and working on it better, and then I'm trying to see like, does a shower make a difference? Does a shower kind of bring me down? I'm gonna get a sauna soon, so that might help a
Oh.
lot.
Dope.
Hopefully I can use that before bed to maybe relax a little bit more. I think the truth of it is like I have to do some stuff that I just don't want to do. I think I need to get away from the phone like 2 hours before bed, and I probably get away from the phone more like an hour before bed. And it's not so much that there's a problem with the phone necessarily, but just being on like alert and being like, and having your mind continuing to race, is kind of impacting some of that. So I'm trying to make it better, but I think you would dig it. It's kind of fun to like analyze it.
Yeah. No, these past few days, actually no, it's been like a week and a half. I haven't had the Apple Watch because I had to send it back to the Apple Store, and all the Apple stores are closed.
Damn.
I've just been like, fuck, I can't track shit, because I use it like even when I do cardio to track my heart rate to make sure I'm in the right place. So like now when I do cardio, I'm just gonna have to
I'll go by feel.
feel.
But you'll probably kind of know
I'll
what
be
that
able
is, right?
I'll be able to probably be close to where I want to be, but still like there are some portions of the cardio where you want to slow down a little bit, but you'll be like, oh snap, I got to keep it up. So it does show how it does affect that just a little bit. But yeah, I'm curious actually which one's better, the Whoop or the Aura Ring, because apparently they both track
Mhm.
pretty well.
Yeah, I
So
think it
who
might
knows?
be just a matter of which one's in your price range. I don't know if there's
Preference.
I don't know, and preference. Yeah, I don't know if there's a huge difference. But yeah, I'm digging this. Like it tells you your body temperature and shit. It
Mhm.
tells you all kinds of stuff.
It's so cool that I can just do that from there too.
I know,
like just from your finger.
So one thing it doesn't do that's a little bit annoying is it doesn't really give you your heart rate. So like during training, it doesn't give you your heart rate. I just don't think it can accurately do that through here, or maybe it has to. I don't know why it doesn't give you your heart rate during exercise. But what it does show you, it shows you like how many calories it thinks I burn, and it tells me all kinds of shit like that, which is pretty cool. I burn like 4,000 calories from not doing hardly anything, like 3,400 or 3,500.
Wow.
Yeah, and then that matched up with what they did yesterday when they hooked me up to that. Yesterday I did like a VO2 max and all that stuff, and that was pretty cool. Like that was fun. They're trying to test to see like what I'm burning, when, and I haven't seen all the results from it, but they were pretty excited. They were like, dude, you're actually in really good shape, like considering the different stages they had me kind of go through. But I don't have I have first gear. First gear is like my 10-minute walks.
Mhm.
You know, they're like, you got that shit down. Like you're really good there, and you can probably maintain that pace for hours on end and not be fatigued, and actually probably get a stimulus from it and actually feel really good.
When we were walking in Columbus,
Yeah, I love.
and you just made us keep walking.
Yeah, yeah, I love to walk. You know, I can do that forever.
Yeah.
And they're like, and then when we kicked it into high gear, they're like, you got plenty of that. Like you can go hard and you can actually go fairly long. So that was pretty good. But they're like, for some reason you're missing like 2 and 3. Like you don't have like middle gears. I'm like, yeah, well that makes sense with powerlifting. It's I just
Yeah.
have these repeatable efforts that I normally take a little, not a little bit, a decent break for. And I go and hit it again, and then like I got my mindset wrapped around that top end stuff. But if you ask me to like go on like a jog, like hey, let's go jog. Like if I had to jog 2 miles,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to do very well. Like I could force myself to make it, but I'll really be dying.
Yeah.
I'll be dying inside. I just won't say anything.
Yeah. Let me ask you. So did they have you run? Did they have you use a bike? Like what was that deal? Because I know some places like they have a bike and a treadmill so that you choose.
Yeah, so they just wanted me to be on a piece that I was comfortable with,
Mhm.
and so I chose the bike because I was like, I don't know what if I'm trying to like really really run, I'm like I don't want to potentially hurt my hip or my knee or my hamstring or something like that. So I felt like
Yeah.
the bike was safer, the assault bike, and I utilized that. But
I want to do this. It's
it's,
sick.
I know, yeah. It's funny because when they were rapping, I mean, they were so excited the entire time. They're like beaming, they're fans,
Yeah.
and they don't get to play with like power lifters, so they're super excited. And at the end, I was like holding it all in, the whole time. I said, hey, I got something for you guys. They're like, what? Like, what else you got for us? I said, I have my African American brother. So I'm gonna bring him in, and you'll be freaked out by him because he does jiu-jitsu 7 days, 8 days a week. And I said the readings you'll get off of this guy are gonna really flip you guys out. So they're gonna be
That's gonna be
checking you
awesome.
out, Natty Professor.
Sick. I can't wait.
They're gonna find out that you run off a trenbolone. They're like, wow, what
It's
is this
just in the
substrate
blood.
right here?
It's just in the blood, man. That I was born with it.
Mm.
Nothing I can do about it. But yo, I actually had a question for you because this morning it popped up on my recommended. You got like a blood test a few weeks ago or whatever, and you said everything was good. Now, did you end up talking more about it later or no?
I'm not sure what popped up. Was it maybe like a YouTube video?
It was a
about
YouTube video. Yeah, you mentioned it,
Mhm.
and you said like you made a joke about your cholesterol being 400, but it wasn't. But then you
Oh,
said
yeah,
you'd talk more
yeah.
about it later. I don't know
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
did.
Yeah. So I shot a video with Carlos. I'm not sure if the video's out yet,
Okay.
but it will be up very soon. And then also on the Mark Bell's Super Training YouTube channel, I had long conversation when you guys were there when we were in Los Angeles about my cholesterol with Dr. Sean Baker and Paul Saladino, and we took kind of a deep dive into that.
Mhm.
But my cholesterol is even better than it was then on this kind of more current test that I got.
Nice.
But I can't even accurately remember, where it was. But anyway, the short of it is that the video, if it's not out yet, it will be up very soon on Mark Smelly Bell YouTube channel. And the concern for cholesterol is kind of over,
Mhm.
but it doesn't mean that cholesterol doesn't matter. It's in accordance to some other factors that can help be predictors of cardiovascular disease or potential of cardiovascular disease. So the other things that you want to look at is like resting insulin. Your resting glucose might matter a little bit in there as well. But it's all factors of cholesterol and not just your total cholesterol. So my total cholesterol is high. But again, half the people that go in the hospital for a heart attack have bad and high cholesterol, or their quote unquote bad cholesterol is high, or their total cholesterol is high, and half don't have that. So it's not a great indicator of cardiovascular health. What's more important is your cholesterol, or what they think is more important at the moment, is your cholesterol to triglyceride ratio, and then also your resting insulin.
Okay.
Those are the main factors that you really want to look at. And my resting insulin is like super low. Interestingly enough, my resting glucose is like 99, and that's a normal adaptation to a carnivorous style diet. What's odd about that is that if let's say your diet, let's say that you have 200 grams of carbohydrates every day,
Yeah.
and I have 0, right? Your I would imagine that your resting glucose would be lower than mine, which is weird, right?
Yeah.
But it's just because your body is clearing it out.
Okay. That makes sense.
And then also a natural adaptation to a low carb or carnivorous diet is your body tries to become more efficient at creating some of this glucose since you don't have any of it coming in through dietary needs. And then also you can potentially get your cortisol levels will be higher in the morning as a result of this kind of low carb lifestyle. I forget why, but everything kind of has a yin and a yang, and everything has a plus and a minus to it. The short of it is like if you were to eat to make sure that doesn't happen as much, if you were just to have 25 to 50 grams of carbohydrates a day, it might help clear some of that up. But we don't really know if that's even important or not.
Yeah.
Because your resting glucose, by some people's measures, they don't think it really matters too much unless you're diabetic.
Has that like altered some of the training times that you've been coming in here? Because I know it's been like midday into later. So does the cortisol level in the morning affect that?
The switch with training has mainly been due to like the season. Like it's not hot out. Like I like training super early when it's hot out because it gets so hot. And then the other part of it is just sleep. You know how hard like the stuff that it does to you mentally and the way that it can like fix your shit and fix your life to wake up that early in the morning and train is phenomenal. The deprivation of sleep is like long-term not worth it, but to do it occasionally and do it for a little while, I still like that. I still wake up pretty early, but as you know, Andrew, like when we're trying to be here at like 4:30 or 4, it's absurd, Like even if you wake up to use the restroom at like 2 or 2:30, you're like, oh fuck, it's like
might as well get up.
Yeah, it's basically time to get up. You're like shit, when I was training with O'Hearn, I would wake up I think 2:45. Yeah, was it 2:45? I had to wake up 2:45 because like a 20-minute drive for me to go from Malibu to Gold's Gym. And I he like Mike and Hani, who doing my diet and stuff, they were like, yeah man, you gotta get that meal in before you train. I'm like, it's more important than my sleep. I'm like, I don't think so, but
yeah,
I just listen to what the fuck they said.
Yeah, when we were hitting 4 a.m. on a like regular basis, the alarm was 2:45. And it was, oh my gosh, it was so difficult for me.
But there's so many positives to it, right? Like, what would you say? Would you say the positives outweigh the negative, or do you think they're about even, or what's your personal thoughts on it?
Short term, the positives way outweigh the negatives. Long term, though, like
it's just not feasible.
It beats you to the ground. Like it's so hard. Like, what I ended up seeing was like, okay, training was doing really well, and then all of a sudden, like productivity throughout the day was like totally faltering, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like this sucks. And then
Wait, really?
Yeah, and then I'd get home, and then it's like, hey, okay, family time, and I'm snoring at like 6 o'clock. So it was bad. But for like, let's say, I don't know, like a month straight, it was like, dude, like I was lit on fire, like it was awesome. And then I just kind of got beat down.
It's good to do it for a little while. It's a good practice. And like, could you wake up a little bit later? Yeah, certainly. Like that's very early, but we were doing it for a specific reason because my buddy Sean was trying to get back home to his kids and stuff, and then his wife would go out and do CrossFit at like 6 a.m. So we were trying to get these workouts done. Specifically, it was like an hour, maybe an hour and a half too early. Starting at 5 or 5:30. Starting at 5:30. In my opinion, is like pretty reasonable. Like I kind of naturally like to wake up early anyway, so that doesn't bother me that much. And then it doesn't make nighttime completely ridiculous. But we all know like one bad night of sleep really doesn't feel good at all. No. One bad night of sleep it feels like shit. And so if you miss, if you're going to try to train at 5:30 every morning, even at 5:30, you have one night where you go to bed at like 10:30 or 11, or you just have a restless night where you went to sleep on time, you're toast, man. It's
Mhm.
gonna be rough.
Yeah, I feel like if you have the goal of getting to the gym at 5:30, well, for me, I should say, it's like the perfect amount of like tiredness at the end of the day to just pass out really
Mhm.
quick. I don't have a problem falling asleep, but like when you're that like super like okay, I'm about to hit deep sleep, like I'm already there, you know, with it before I even fall asleep. I think that's like a really good place to be. But when it's like when you feel that way when you're still at work, it's like, ugh, that's a little bit too much.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think I ever joined you guys on those 4 a.m.
No, and then
workouts.
you'd be like, how come you guys don't invite me? It's like, well, dude, you're probably still awake.
Well, some there's that too. Some people they like to operate a little later in the day, which I think is totally fine.
Mhm.
I've one of the videos I made, waking up early, ended up on bodybuilding.com, and
It's a great video.
it has like 800,000 views or
Mm.
something, and it blew up pretty good. But it's a lot of younger people that are checking it out, and so there's a lot of negativity on there, a lot of negative. It doesn't matter when you wake up; it matters what you do with your day. And I totally,
Which is true.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
100% true.
Yeah, yeah.
Doesn't make any difference when you wake up. I mean, Dave Tate like works through the night, and I mean he's extremely successful, the owner and operator of EliteFTS.com, and there's millions of people that are like that are high level performers that work later on in the day, and especially a lot of creative people, a lot of writers, a lot of people that I would imagine that most people that have written some of the best books we've ever had probably have written them, or best scripts we've ever seen. Probably some of them were written at like 2 in the morning. They didn't
Absolutely.
wake up at 2. They just didn't go to bed until 6 a.m. or something like that,
Mhm.
probably. So it doesn't really matter a ton. But what it did for me personally is and I've talked about this before, is it caused a cascade of disciplines that surrounded that, where I'm like, okay, like it makes you militant.
Mhm.
It's like being thrown into the military. Like if I had people to come here and I could mentor people, that's where we would start. I'd be like, see you in the fucking morning at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Because I know, especially if you're like a kid, if you're like an 18-year-old kid that's like way into bodybuilding, powerlifting, and stuff like that, I would say see you at 4 a.m. And it's not about really just getting there at 4 a.m. It's about organizing yourself and having everything else surrounding it so that you can get there at 4 a.m. and still function really powerfully. And then if you have a regular life where you have a job where you got to sit down and actually bust your ass and do a lot of work, that's going to be really hard and probably not all that practical for the long run. But if it's the only option that you have, it's either that or don't work out.
Mm.
Then that might be what you have. And then you have to decide how many times a week are you going to do that. Because if you have, let's say you have like a job that's like 8 to 5 or 8 to 4 or 7, whatever, and you have to train at 5 in the morning, maybe you just make that commitment. You say, I'm going to do that Tuesday, Thursday, and then Saturday, Sunday, I'm going to hit the gym too. That way you don't have to do it every day,
Mhm.
because doing it every day is where you run into trouble.
Yeah, and I find like what you were saying about the like authors and stuff getting real creative at night. I absolutely agree with that, and I do feel that. But I've also noticed that when you can flip that and wake up early and get work done, like my productivity is insane. But the same like umph isn't there. Like so I'll be able to get a lot done, but like the like I guess that the like velocity of it all is slowed down because I'm still like trying to get my like gears moving and wake up and still have the energy's just not there.
Were you always going to bed on time to be able to get up at that time, or were you like, I think that might be the thing? I mean, what do you think?
No, I would. It was always a full on all out sprint to try to get in bed or close to it around 7, which is impossible.
Mm.
So then the goal is like, okay, I'm going to shoot for 7. If I can get 8, that's great. But it was always just a struggle. Like, with family and just with anything going on. Like, I'm not even going to say like, oh, if you have kids, like it's worse or not. Like everybody has stuff going on.
Yeah.
But that just kind of adds like another layer to it.
Mm-hmm.
So whether it's like, I don't know, homework or just, I mean, shit, even getting your clothes ready for the next day, you're just like, fuck. Like
Those are those disciplines that you just met. Yeah.
Yeah,
See, those disciplines.
it's
And I
just
still do a
tough.
lot of that, even
Oh,
though
yeah.
I'm not getting here super early. I still wake up pretty early, but like, last night, whenever there's like a lull in the day where the day is like, there's just not really anything that productive to do in the day, I try to think about what's something I can do to kind of like launch me ahead.
Mm.
You know, it's a weird thing to think about, but like, what's something that can launch me past myself? Almost like you're picturing like passing yourself up on the street. You know, you're running past yourself, being like, "See you later, sucker." Like, what's the thing that can do that
I
for
like
you?
that.
And for me, like, my phone is like uploading something last night, and it's just taking 1,000 years. And I'm like, okay, well, rather than sit here and watch this and be like frustrated that it takes forever, charge the phone, boom, go take a shower, lay out my clothes for the next day. That gets done. And I already had dinner, and then I had my second dinner, and that was that for the day, you know, and that worked great. And it's like, I try to do that most of the time. And then I try to just be thoughtful of stuff like, how is what I'm doing at the moment productive? Even if it's like me being as lazy as possible, just chilling, maybe that's good. You know, like, did I get a chance to do that? Did I get a chance to, people talk about being mindful, you know, but did you have an opportunity during the day at all to be like mindless and just be numb and just to not do anything? And the answer usually for me is like, not really. But how much of that do you need? You know, you shouldn't need too much of that. So last night for me, it was like I watched ESPN for like an hour, which I haven't done in forever. I'm like, fuck, Tom Brady's going to the Buccaneers. Like, what the hell's
That's
going on?
crazy, by
Buccaneers?
the way. Yeah.
I actually know that team. But yeah, I heard you left the Patriots. That's fucking wild.
The Buccaneers, if they were to have a 10-6 record for the next 40 years, they would be at 500 in terms of their like 50%. They would be 50-50. So right now they're at like 38% winning average, and they have the worst out of the NHL, NBA, and NFL. They got the worst fucking record out of any possible team.
Yeah, they used to be called the Succaneers. They were so bad.
Wait, so were they bad last year?
They're
I'm
bad
wondering,
all the
like,
time.
they're bad all the time.
They're bad all the time, except for the 1 year that they had an amazing team when they were coached by Coach Gruden, where they won the Super Bowl.
So can you guys, like, why did he choose to go to the Buccaneers? Do you know that yet? Like, is there anything that makes sense about that move? He's getting paid a ton of money. Like, what's the deal?
I don't think it's financial necessarily, although I'm sure he's Tom
getting
Brady,
paid.
so he's getting paid well. But so they had two receivers that had over 1,000 yards last year. So they had two receivers that performed really well. He's got people he can chuck the ball to. I would imagine that because they have people that they can throw the ball to like that, that they must have good blocking. So he probably has good protection. So, I mean, at the very least, I mean, he's not at 43. I wouldn't imagine that he would go to a team where he's like, man, I might get killed if I go there.
Yeah.
So they have good pass protection probably. They probably have a good coach. I believe that was some of the stuff. And then also I think, you know, now it's a race between him and like Belichick to see who can be the most successful without one another, you know? And I think Shannon Sharp was talking about that the other day.
Did you see the meme that Shannon Sharp put up on his
I don't think I saw it.
Andrew, okay, it's a Tom
Dude,
Cruise
Shannon
thing.
Sharp has the best.
He's so funny.
He has the best Instagram ever.
That man is so freaking hilarious. I love that guy.
Dude, that guy's from another planet.
Yeah, he really is. And he just doesn't age. Have you noticed that? He's still 30.
He's
or 35
fucking
at the most.
He's in those suits and shit, and he's yoked.
Yeah.
He looks amazing. I don't know how he does it.
It does make any sense.
And then he was like benching like 450 or 425 or something for like some reps and stuff. Like, he's not short.
Yeah.
He's like 6'3" or 6'4".
Wait, pause. He's 6'3", 6'4"?
At least.
What?
He's a fucking monster. I mean, he's got the long ass fucking arms. I mean, he is a mutant.
And then another cool aspect of it all is I
like the looks of this.
The Super Bowl is going to be in oh my gosh, Tampa Bay.
Oh yeah, okay.
So
Florida.
If he takes his team to the Super Bowl, it'll be like the first time ever that somebody's been able to. A team has played their home, for the Super Bowl.
If he manages this, Brady's going to be like a football god. He already is. Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
Well, I'm in Montana, you know.
Oh, there was a guy yesterday, the mayor of Buffalo. Did you guys see that clip?
No.
The mayor of Buffalo, he came out and had this like, he was talking about the coronavirus. Everything he was talking about was like very serious. And then just like, he just deadpanned it and didn't even like, didn't laugh or nothing. And he goes, and for all the Buffalo, because Buffalo gets their ass kicked all the time by the Patriots.
Yeah.
And he goes, for everybody that wants to celebrate, Brady leaving the AFC West or AFC East. He's like, please do so responsibly. Don't gather in gatherings of more than 10 people.
That's awesome.
And everyone's like clapping and
That's
people are getting
great.
all fired up and stuff. But he was like, yeah, you just, they'll just do it like privately,
That's great.
This needs audio, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
it does.
Let me, bam.
God, this is so
Bam.
funny.
I'm not gonna do what you all
No
think
way.
I'm gonna do, which is just flip out.
Edelman.
Let me just
crap.
say, as I ease out of the office I helped build, I'm sorry, but it's a fact that there is such a thing as manners. A way of treating people. Who's coming with me?
He's got his fish.
Who's coming with me?
I will go with you.
Of course.
Thank you. We'll see you all again.
They got to be laughing
Sleep
about
t-
this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Brady's got to love that.
Yeah, I thought that was absolutely hilarious. I had to look up who Giselle was, which is his wife, because I don't know these things, but that was great.
It's pretty funny. I think I saw a quote from like Bob Kraft, and he was like, he earned the right to, after doing this for us for 20 years, to leave respectfully. I was like, what do you mean? Like he had to play for you for 20. He had to work for you for 20 years to earn the right to like move on to something different like that.
Yeah,
It just sounded weird. I'm sure it's part of a lot larger speech, but I was like, that just sounds.
it does
sound-
sound a little bit. I
Yeah.
get what you're saying.
Yeah, it sounds like he like really owned him. Like weird way of looking at it.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, the Niners retrieved all but one starter on their defense, so I think we're gonna be fine.
ooh,
Yeah.
They only lost one guy.
Sad. They traded DeForest Buckner for a
Oh.
13th round pick,
Oh,
which is dude, a first round pick, but you can't really replace that guy.
yeah.
So
no,
it's
he's
gonna
a
be tough.
beast.
isn't something about Tom Brady that he's like not? Wasn't he like picked in a late round or something?
Oh, yeah.
I think I read that on Wikipedia a few months
Yeah,
ago,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
What was it?
Like seventh
He
round. or
was
something.
late. Yeah. Everybody passed on him.
That's so insane. Like that's so crazy.
Yeah, they just never thought he
I know.
was.
Yeah.
I'll show you a picture of him at the combine.
Everybody listening to the podcast is like, yeah, we know Nsima, but I'm new to this shit, guys. Come on now. Come on.
Well, it's funny. Everyone always brings this up, this like way that he used to look and stuff. But I would imagine he probably doesn't look that much different
No.
anymore. But he just is. I mean, he looks better. He's a better looking guy. But it's money. Money can do that for you.
Yeah, I don't know if I would waste a first round pick on that.
Oh, this is Dad Bod Central, right?
Yeah. Why is he standing like that?
I'm about to go play some hoops with my kids. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what he looks like right
Yeah.
here.
He definitely has the white Asics with grass stains.
Yes.
He's got a little bit of like moose knuckle going on too. Like he horked the shorts up a little too high.
Pause, man. Yo, if you're like telling your kid, I'm about to show you the greatest football player of all
Yeah.
time, son, and you pull this picture up.
And then he has like the Lloyd Christmas haircut
Yeah.
from Dumb and Dumber.
Yes. Yo, this is amazing though. It just honestly, this goes to show you that like, well, certain positions like quarterback, but I mean, you could just you could be super talented, man.
Mhm.
Like, he can throw a ball like nobody else. That picture right there is hilarious. Oh man, yeah. I mean, he's better built now, but not it's not that much different.
Yeah,
Right?
he's probably not like super jacked or anything at the moment.
Yeah. Man, that's so crazy though.
His body fat percentage is not relevant to what he's trying to do.
It's not.
really.
And he knows
I
how to take a tackle, I guess. Like
Yeah.
that's something you need to know how to do. So
Yeah, well, I mean, even like in like MMA, like we've seen some of the guys get really, really shredded, and then we've seen it like not pay off.
yeah, yeah.
What about jiu-jitsu? Like, are there some guys that are like? I mean, I know you're super lean, but like, what about? You see other guys gas out that are like bodybuilding looking ish, or
Yeah, so the top, I'm thinking of like the top guys in competition in terms of jiu-jitsu, and they might not be like some of them, like Andre Galvao, even not Keenan, what's his name? Buchecha's pretty damn big. Muhammad Ali His name is actually, he's a Brazilian guy named
Mhm.
Muhammad Ali. I met, oh my God. Okay, so this was crazy when I went to that match with Chad, because I saw some of the, I met Muhammad Ali, and he won worlds in the, I don't know if it was the super heavyweight bracket, and he won like overall 2 years ago. He's like 6'3", probably a cool 240, 245. Yo, he was like, I'm like, this guy, he might be a little bigger than me. Like, seriously. So, and Andre Galvao is like probably 2 inches shorter than you and just yoked. You know what I mean? And he's one of the greatest competitors of all time. So there are a lot of guys that just kill. There are a lot of guys that are like Mikey Musumeci.
But average body fat percentage amongst probably the best, the cream of the crop, is probably like 12 to 15%.
Probably more like 9 to 12 or 13. Like you'll see a lot of them seem to be really lean. A lot of them
Okay.
seem to really, really lean. There's some that are higher body
Obviously,
fat
I'm sure
percentage,
it
but
matter of the weight class a ton. Too,
yeah,
right?
it matters the weight class. There's some that might.
But Setlage's
high.
body fat's super low. You know?
Yeah, Settlage is
Yeah, he's lean as
definitely
shit.
single digits or
Right.
10% at least.
Right.
Yeah, but like, yeah, no, the top competitors are typically in very good shape. It's rare that you see like really at like, you don't usually see guys that look like, and this is no disrespect to him, by the way, Daniel Cormier.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see many of
Right.
those guys at the top levels of jiu-jitsu.
Right.
It's very, I'm trying to think of any, to be honest, and you just don't see that. They're always in really good shape.
I would say a lot of wrestlers too. Daniel Cormier has that wrestling background, but a lot of wrestlers, except for the heavyweight division,
Mhm.
seem to be in pretty good shape most of the time. You know, I think I might have sent you guys a video or picture not too long ago of my buddy Bobby Lashley, who was a real high level, a collegiate wrestler, and then he went on to do a lot of WWF type stuff and WWE type stuff, and then some UFC type stuff. But yeah, he's like, super lean, and you think of like Brock Lesnar and a lot of these.
Jacked out of his mind.
Yeah, these guys are in good shape. It just takes a lot of conditioning.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a tremendous amount of conditioning. Is there anything that you had to do specifically, like outside of jiu-jitsu, that you think helped at all, or is it like just grappling, like getting a fresh guy in there and sucking it up in practice? You think that was most important for your conditioning type stuff? Or
There's a lot of things that helped. Like, when we had the guy from CSA come, I started doing some of that cardio,
Mhm.
and that was beneficial. But the number one biggest thing that like helped was just rolling more.
Mhm.
Like, first off, rolling almost every day, but also in the sparring rounds, not taking any of those rounds off, no matter how bad I felt. I think that was the thing that helped me continue to push my conditioning to that next
Right.
level, because like even when I'm just like I don't want to move, my body doesn't feel like it can really do well, or I'm like, okay, this guy's probably gonna fuck me up because I'm so tired, I still take that round, and I just roll through that, and it just gets much, much easier.
I think that might be some of the disadvantage of cardio pieces. The advantage is I get to concentrate. I get to go on this piece for this amount of minutes, and I could sprint. I could do longer duration stuff. I have options of switching back and forth between different energy systems, and it might be nice for general work capacity.
Mhm.
But I think you are kind of more specifically just getting better at that machine. You're getting better at that one thing, and I think that's where like some CrossFit can come in, or
Yeah.
just what you're saying, like just do more of your sport if you can afford to do more of the sport, and it's not going to make you like overtrained, or because you can run into that sometimes, and that's why a boxer isn't going to just box all the time and just spar all the time. They're going to jump rope, they're going to run, they're going to do some other things, so they're not getting hit in the head all the time, because you can't afford to do that all the time.
Mhm.
Although that's probably the best training, and getting punched in the stomach in round number 8 and pushing through to round number 12 is probably the best training for it. But you can't afford to do that all the time because it will beat you up too much. So
Yeah.
you have to kind of think of different ways. But if you're just trying to get in shape off of just a cardio piece, that could be great for being lean.
Mhm.
That could be great for looking good, but it may not be your best option in terms of being able to perform well at some different aspects of fitness.
Exactly. I mean, I think that's why I like jiu-jitsu too, like, because when you do get really tired and you're forcing yourself to go into another round, right? Like, you really it's going to be difficult for you to rest, because you're trying to fight off submissions, and you're fighting off submissions in awkward body positions, right? Like, it's not, when you get tired on a bike, you can slow down a little bit. You got to mentally force yourself to speed up. when somebody's on top of you and mount, or they have your back, if you slow down, you're getting choked, right? So you can't, you got to really, there's that part of your mind where you want to slow down kind of turns off a little bit. And the part of your mind where I need to try and survive turns on, and you just don't think about it that much. You don't think about the fatigue as much, even though it's there.
I think it's really interesting that somebody's gonna choke you out, right?
Mm-hmm.
or potentially like snap your arm, right? Break your arm, choke you out. You know that they're about to do something, and your way out of it, if you're skilled, could be to just kind of flow with it, right? Could be just to kind of like go with it and understand which way to roll and the techniques and stuff. But for the most part, if you're newer, your way out of it is going through a thinking process. And this is like, I think a cool life lesson is that I think a lot of times we get jammed into these bad positions and these bad spots in life, and we get super frustrated about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then like, how good does frustration help in jiu-jitsu? Does it help you get out of any holds, or being like overly worried or being super mad? Like, does it help?
It'll mess you up. Like,
it's not helpful.
Yeah, like you actually mentioned it perfectly. Like in those types of situations where you have to escape it, you typically, first off, if you know the technique, you kind of just like flow through it. You just kind of
because it's so repetition. Like, oh, he's got me here. I remember last time I rolled to my left and boom, I was out of it like that.
Exactly.
Try that again, see if that works. Oh, he knows I'm doing that. Okay, let me go the other way. Right.
Exactly. But like like when you're putting an arm bar on a white belt and they're trying to get out of it, and their face is going crazy and their body's going crazy, and they're not literally going to go anywhere. That's where you don't
no amount of
be.
that helps. They're scrambling and you're like, boop.
You're just slowly bringing it back. Exactly. So yeah, I was talking to someone about this, man, and I was mentioning how I think
You touched your face again, by the way.
I've touched it multiple times. God dang it, man! Don't. I'm the example
It'll
of what
blow
not
over.
to do. It'll blow over. But I was talking to him about bodybuilding, powerlifting, and jiu-jitsu. And I was mentioning, because like he was like, are you ever going to step back on the bodybuilding stage? And I said, like, not until I really feel an itch to do it. But in terms of bodybuilding,
When you're super old, when you're like 40.
honestly, like maybe so.
just as a challenge, right?
Yeah, exactly. But what I was saying is like bodybuilding's cool, but you don't get to compete that much, and the way you're judged is based off of judges. So the unfortunate thing about
Maybe it's
bodybuilding,
subjective. Is that the right word?
is that subjective?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
The unfortunate thing is that when you compete in bodybuilding, you can always give yourself an excuse for losing. You can always say, well, that judge, he was friends with this person. I definitely know I was leaner. You'll show the pictures to all your friends, and then they'll be like, dude, you were so much leaner than everybody else. I have you first, right? So you can seriously.
Wasn't even close.
Wasn't even close.
Politics, bro.
Exactly.
That guy did a competition 6 weeks ago. He knows all the judges already.
Yo, exactly.
He's sponsored by this guy. He has this coach. Like, they expedited him right to the top. They didn't even check you out. They didn't even look at you.
That's the thing about bodybuilding competition. You can really make excuses for that. Like the training and getting better and improving and getting bigger is cool. But then you look at powerlifting, and powerlifting's awesome because you can go into competition trying to beat other people. But even when you're a starting powerlifter, it's really cool because it really is a sport that can be equated to it's you versus you. Because let's say you're not extremely strong, you're not like a world beater strong, but you love to powerlift. So you have your first meet, and then you have your next meet, and you got stronger. You can see, wow, my total's bigger. I got stronger. You can see that improvement. I'm improving. I'm getting stronger, right? And yeah, like you get the lights and whatever. You can always try and argue that from time to time, but typically, if your squat was high, your squat was high. Right. So that's why I really like I like that, you can't make excuses for your mistakes, but I really like jiu-jitsu training because I haven't gone to, like, it surprised me when I started because every single day you're losing when you start. Every single day you're getting choked and messed up multiple times. And it takes something to get used to that. Walking into that, slapping your partner's hand, they beat you up. Thank you. You go to the next one, they beat you up. Thank you. You do your first competition and maybe, whatever. Like if you get choked out, you get choked out, but you go right back to it. There's just this consistent beating that I've never
Lose. Here, deal with this. You're gonna lose this way. Oh, now you're gonna lose this way. Oh, you think you're gonna win? Nope, you're gonna lose this way. Oh, this is perfect. You're gonna lose that way.
Wrist lock, arm bar, leg lock. Like, you just lose all the time until certain things click, and then you don't lose as much, but you'll still lose quite a bit. Like, it really gets you. I was really trying to figure out what else can force you to fail so much and have you coming back. You know what I mean? Because like when you're pursuing anything as far as, like, you know, business or life is concerned, you always hear you're gonna fail, you're gonna fail, you're gonna fail. But the instinct is to try and escape that. The instinct is either to maybe not do it because you're gonna fail, not do it because you're embarrassed. But jiu-jitsu really makes you fail a lot to improve. You can't improve at jiu-jitsu without getting tapped thousands of times. It's just impossible. Like, no matter how big and strong you are, happened to me too. Like, you can't get better without being fucked up multiple times. And that's the crazy thing about it.
Yeah, it's not like you can just like get up and run away.
Nope.
You're like stuck there on the mat, you know. And I guess the one thing you could say about jiu-jitsu, like in terms of competition, is that it could kind of get left in the hands of the judges, and that's where it could get a little bit.
When points are, yeah,
it can get a little bit weird from that. But I do love, like, this is an actual technique that people can use if they get pissed about something, is that if you can think of something specific, and the more specific it is, the less likely you are to lose your cool. But it could even be something, it can even be something completely different than whatever it is that you're experiencing. Say you're pissed at your girlfriend, or you're pissed at your wife, or you're pissed that, you know, you just got a coffee and you just put the right amount of cream in it and everything, and you go to turn the corner and boom, the whole lid explodes and it fucking goes everywhere, and you're actually mad. Like, it just messed you up. It got all over your new white shoes or something like that, and you're at the moment you're not very rational about it, and you are pretty pissed. But what they say is that if you can, the more that you can think towards something real specific, the more that you can think of something that's like logistical, or even like almost like mathematic, or something that has like math in it, then the sooner that you can like calm down from it. It's a way of like distracting. It's a distraction technique. So in your case, you know, these people like getting you in these holds, right? You know that if the guy got you in the same hold 3 weeks ago and tapped you, it does you absolutely no good to be like, fuck, you know, like that does you no good. The thing that's going to help you the best is to think like logistically, like, how do I get out of this? What did I do last time? Last time I rolled towards my arm and I grabbed my other hand, and then I leaned up on him and he wasn't that strong and I was able to break free. You know, that's what's going to help you the most, is like, you know, experiences, or thinking like in a logistical way. So next time someone freaks out, then you're listening to this, and if you have a day where something goes haywire, it doesn't have to be related to what it is that you're mad at, but you can even just allow it to distance you for a few minutes and distract you away from whatever it is that you're pissed about. You could, like, for me, like, it would be like, maybe I would think about a new product that we have coming out. Like, oh man, I'm really mad that Jake did this or whatever. And I can just like calm down for a minute, put that on the shelf for half a second, which is hard to do, but that's the hardest part right there, is just identifying that you're mad, and that's not a good strategy, as we're pointing out here, because you're going to get your arm broken, right? You know, retrain and rethink a way out of it, and then maybe just think, okay, actually, you know, I have that new product coming out, but everything's all screwed up because of, you know, the coronavirus, but, you know, how do I get that product still made, and stuff like that. And then you're going down a different trail, and then you can get back to that thing later on when you have more sense about you.
Are you, I swear I heard something like this. I don't know if it was last week. Did you mention something like telling someone, what if you get really mad, just start doing math? Because I literally heard that recently. You said that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was like, I swear. Okay. Oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. It's like, again, it's hard to do because it's hard to recognize. But if you think about all the times that you've been mad in your life, and you think about all the different times that it's been helpful, you know, you probably come up with the answer is probably 0. Sometimes it does help to show people emotion, and that's not what I'm talking about. You know, if you were to like cry or get upset, or like sometimes, you know, sometimes it's good to show people that you care about something. Sometimes it's the only way that they know, but it's usually not helpful, especially to get mad.
Of course, no, it's
not. Doesn't really do much.
But I want to say this though, from what I said earlier, I don't want bodybuilders and powerlifters to think I'm saying that the sports aren't hard, or that it's like not possible to fail in those sports. I wasn't at all saying any of that. Because in powerlifting, we always talk about you don't necessarily want to fail a big lift. Like, you want to set up your training so you don't
There's
fail.
different ways you can fail it.
There is different ways you could fail it. You know what I mean?
Just you didn't do it perfectly. You didn't do it
Exactly.
well enough. Like, we've talked a lot about that. You always want to try to, like, you don't always want to try to lift more necessarily, although that is ultimately the goal. But you want to try to lift better. You got to lift the weight better. You did 225 for a set of 3 last week, but third rep you bounced it off your chest, and you kind of, let's see if we can we do 3 sets of 3 with 220 or 215, and then maybe try 225 again the next week, and see if we can, I've said this a million times over, like, nothing bad's going to happen to you from doing it the right way.
Yes.
Just positive's going to come from it. And I had to do a lot of that with Andrew, and Andrew would be like, damn it, like, I got to take this weight again. I don't want to do this weight again. And I'd just keep, shoving it into his head. Like, we got to lift it better, not necessarily just always try to lift more.
Yeah.
Man, I wish I could go back to like a couple days ago and start doing math, because I was outside, had on my dope Vans, and I stepped on some dog shit, and I was so pissed off. Because if you guys know the bottom of Vans, it's like a grid pattern sort of thing. So it was in there, and it's not coming out.
Yeah, now you can get a pencil and just, it
I know it's
Yeah.
fine, but like, I just took them off, left them outside. I'm like,
I
fuck
feel
you. I was so mad.
I would get pretty annoyed too, or pretty pissed.
Yeah, and well, something else, that you could do is you can, like, rather than thinking about like math or something, you can think about just how funny is this story going to be to Jasmine later on. Like, this, like, I'm actually pissed about this. Like, fuck this. This does suck. But when I tell Jasmine later on, like, hey, remember like that spot we were walking the other day? I totally stepped in the biggest mound of dog poop. I don't know how I saw it. It's all squished into my. She's gonna be like, "Oh my god, that's gross." And she's gonna think it's silly, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh man, I just didn't even bother with it. I was so frustrated, I just took them off and left them there. You try to think of it in some different way.
Yeah.
You guys hearing any of this stuff about Kratom?
Ooh, tell me.
So there's a guy, and I thought he was crazy, and maybe he is. There's a guy that's a fan that's been taking some Kratom, and he swears that it's helping him against the coronavirus.
Hey, Mark, be careful now.
I know.
People are gonna start saying,
Yeah.
Mark,
How much of this do we need to snort, and how much do we need to put up our ass to
Not
stay?
only that, but you don't want to end up on an Instagram post.
these Kratom zealots.
Yeah, why not have it come from us first? But like, I don't know, and just to Google search it, you can Google search it, and there's man, I don't even have any idea how to say this word, but CHLOROQUINE is a derivative of something that is found in Kratom, or there's something similar to it that could potentially ward off coronavirus. And there's
Chloroquine.
There you go. And it seems like there's a little bit of information on it, and what it says.
Bro, I'm about to pop hella potions.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not
Oh
not making any of this up. When the information came from this guy, I thought it was crazy, and I still don't know. I don't have any information that says that it really helps, but there's multiple articles right here talking about it.
Is it the one with Dr. Thurman Usman?
Yeah, go ahead and hit it up.
So-
There's just people are basically saying there's some things in plants that could potentially help us from this, and this is this molecule could be related to something that's in Kratom. So I don't know.
I just popped half a potion.
There you go.
So
I think obviously there's going to have to be a lot more information
Yeah.
about it, but this guy's testimony, I guess we'll call it, is he just said that his whole family had it, and he's like the only guy that doesn't have it. But I don't know, I don't know if anything's confirmed. I don't know if, the people that are close to him that he's talking about, if they actually have it or if they just have symptoms of it. I'm not sure, what the deal is.
Honestly, that's
It's nuts.
pretty cool. Hey, it gives me more rationale to.
It says
Take it.
it says here in this article that was written March 8th of 2020, so it's recent. It says, and this could be from another guy that sells Kratom. I don't know. I'll have to look into it a lot more, but he just basically says Kratom can possibly ward off the coronavirus because chlorophene, in parentheses CQ, can be used for treatment of patients with COVID-19. And that's information that we kind of got from, I believe that same thing is in that malaria drug that
Oh, really?
Dr. Lyon was sharing with us the other day. So, I mean, this could actually be a valid thing, but I need to look into it more.
Now, everyone, continue to hear what we're saying here. We just saw this, and he's saying we're going to look into it more.
Yeah.
It could. So no one is. I want to make this so clear
Yeah, do
that
your own
nobody
research.
can muddy what's being said here. We are not saying Kratom cures the coronavirus. We've just seen some shit and heard some shit, and it doesn't hurt to take it.
It's weird how it gives you like these crazy powerful boners, and it burns so much fat. Like the fat that it burns, Kratom, like it makes you super lean after just like 1 or 2 dosages of
I
it.
swear, the only reason why I have single-digit body fat is because I take Kratom every single day.
You were so fat.
So fat.
That was
was.
crazy how
And
fat
hey,
you were.
on the note of the boners, my lady has something to say. She wanted me to say thank you for the 9 bullet potions because there was this. I'm done. Before I get in trouble, I'm done.
There was this one day. What was in that mind bullet?
Yeah, I'm just checking out like just different articles online. Blah 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 blah. There's more than just one coronavirus in the world. Just look at the label on a standard disinfectant spray bottle to see for yourself. And CQ could be a type of master key that protects against all of them. CQ being, of course, that big word that we can't pronounce. That is in
Chloroquine.
Yeah, that one,
Good
which
job,
of course is in Kratom. Damn, that's wild.
That's actually really cool. Huh.
And then the very next article, why the FDA wants to ban Kratom.
I'm gonna find out more information, and if there's anything remotely, close to being stuff that I should report to you guys, I will.
Cool. Don't you know a guy that's like a pro on Kratom? Like he knows everything about it.
Yeah, I know a few people that really know a lot about it. Yeah, FDA is working on banning. Yeah, that's always funny.
Do you think they're actually going to be able to ban it? By the way.
No.
Okay. Cool.
Nah. Now we enjoy it too much, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Shit, we'll just do that illegally. It's no big deal.
Yeah. Yeah, we already. Never mind. What else you got over there, Andrew?
No, just reading in on some comments. Just people asking more about Kratom. If there was a website, where would people look into getting it?
Mindbullet.com, baby. We got Mind Bullet Potion, and we got Mind Bullet Capsules.
If you do the potion and you're a newbie,
Careful.
do the whole thing.
Might be sent to outer space.
It might be sent to outer space. Yo, I had great experiences. But yeah, it's start with half.
Yeah.
Start with half.
Maybe 2 capsules. Not
You
necessarily.
mean
a
the
potion.
capsules?
Yeah,
Okay.
capsule.
My
Yeah.
cousin is loving it. My our good friend Matt Vincent is loving it. He's like, yo, he's like, that's hitting me different than just the capsules. I'm like, I was like, yeah, if you take a whole dose of it, it sure will. But he's enjoying it. I kind of like it. Just I think the capsules, they just take a little longer to hit you.
Potion hits you like that.
I do with the capsules though. Capsules of Mind Bullet and some coffee. Dude, oh my gosh, I get so much work done in the mornings here. It's so great. I love it.
People got to give it a shot, man.
Yeah.
Give it a try.
Yeah. I mean, hey, it might protect you against the old Rona.
Yeah.
Might. I'm just protecting your words before someone cuts them up and makes a clip of you.
Yeah.
Makes a meme.
Wouldn't want that to happen.
I've been part of worse before.
That Sonic one's still my favorite.
Sonic one was so good.
That was really good. I love, man, when people get it right, they get it right.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I've had people make fun of me before, but I'm like, man, that's kind of like, it's it's great when it's creative and it's
Yes.
actually funny. It's like, oh
Yes.
man, like that's actually. I just feel like I'm an open target. I feel like people can make fun of me really, really well.
Yeah.
And if they work on it a little bit, be
Yeah.
creative with it. Anyway,
Okay, boomer.
I had a good. I had a good training session yesterday. I hit up some shoulders. I hate training shoulders. What do you guys hate to train the most? I don't know why, but like I don't know, it just hurt.
I love shoulders, by the way. It's one of my favorites to train. The shoulder pump is crazy. But
Yeah, the shoulder pump is good, but it's like I kind of get it so much that I'm like I just want to be like out of my own body. I don't know if that makes any sense. Like I just want to not be myself. I want to be somebody else for a minute because it burns so
You
bad.
get that on the leg extension.
Oh,
That's where you just like want to not be you.
yeah, that's bad. The leg that especially the one we have in the gym. That one's horrific.
Mhm.
Okay, there's been something that I've been seeing people do recently that I'm very curious to do. On the hamstring machine, you may already know this, and I'm just late to the party. If you go opposite ways on the lying hamstring curl, and instead you put your arms behind the thing, right? It could be a dope lat
Pullover.
pullover. Yeah. And like I've seen some people, they're like, oh my God, the pumps are crazy. So I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try that soon.
I don't know
Maybe
if you'd
today.
be able to get in there though.
You could get in there. You could get in
Do
there.
you need us to
No.
sit on your lap?
Maybe. Sure.
Hmm.
Just because
Reverse
you know,
cowboy?
That's probably what they call it. Reverse cowboy.
I wasn't expecting to get him this excited. I'll take it.
Oh shit! I've never heard that before. That's so funny.
I guess that
wow.
would be what it's called. Right?
That would
Well, it
most
is now.
definitely be what it's called, the reverse cowboy.
You're welcome, world. Yeah.
Go ahead and Google search that just in case.
Yeah. Maybe just see if there's like a reversecowboy.com just to maybe we can buy it.
Oh man. Oh man, that's
This
great.
show is really shitty, isn't it?
Reverse cowboy.
But yeah, I'm gonna try that. I can't wait. But honestly, I'm trying to think. What do I really hate to train?
Well, I would say the thing that I dislike the most.
Getting sore calves really sucks. So like
Well-
training them's not bad, but if your calves are
Yeah,
really lit
then
up,
you can't
then
walk.
that's painful.
But like yesterday, I felt it again. Like anytime I do any kind of like chest movement with dumbbells first, my left shoulder just fucking can't hang. I don't know what happens with that, but
Chest movement with dumbbells first.
so just doing incline.
Dumbbell presses.
Yeah.
And...
But if I
Oh.
were to use a barbell, I'm fine.
Oh well, okay. Right now, my least favorite thing to train is like bench because benching with my AC joint. But that's just because my AC joint. I do like benching. It's just, I miss it. I
Oh
miss
man, we weren't trying.
I
to
can
get you
dumbbell
upset.
bench though, so
Hmm.
that's there.
Yeah, I mean cardio sucks sometimes.
Yeah, cardio could be kind of boring, especially if you're just doing like a, 20, 30 minute, just steady state.
go.
It's kinda a little bit boring. But we got headphones. We
Yeah.
got some podcasts we can listen to.
I enjoyed the Stairmaster for whatever duration times.
Mm-hmm.
After a while, though.
Yeah, I never went over like half an hour.
Yeah.
So
What have
guess-
you guys been really liking recently in terms of training? Like anything new that you're just like, this is my jam right now?
I've just been loving like going heavy on the squat. Pushing those box squats a little bit. That's been feeling really
the box squat with those briefs that you've been working on
good. Yeah,
were
those-
really
Ooh.
fun.
Yeah, those are feeling really, really
Yeah.
good. Yeah. That's been feeling awesome. And then what sucks though is like that takes up a good chunk of time. Like the other day I put on like 100 pounds of chains on each side. Like that takes a while. It takes a while to warm up to it. And then I just don't like from a logistical standpoint, I just don't have time for anything else. So I'll just do that one thing. But even that feels good. Like I'm even kind of enjoying that. Like just adopting this idea of like, all right, just do one, like don't be a pussy, just go do one thing.
Mhm.
Just, don't be a baby about it. Like just do one thing. And so yesterday when I did the VO2 max, I was like, oh, that might be pretty taxing. I was like, maybe I'll train shoulders afterwards. And I was like, no, there's no maybe. Like just train shoulders. So
Yeah.
I just, I sold it to myself that I was going to do like 3 sets of 2 different exercises for shoulders. And I did my shoulders for 45 minutes straight. Just kept
Mm.
switching up exercises, did front raises, side raises, rear raises, just did it all,
Yeah.
got it all done. And I think that's what most people will find. If you can just talk yourself into doing like one thing, you'll probably do more than that.
Yeah. Okay, cool. How about you, Andrew?
Just real quick, Johnny Coe. I have no way to confirm this, but says he's the one that actually sent you the email about Kratom. So
Oh.
he's currently listening. That's pretty dope.
What's his name?
He just has it on his Johnny Coe.
What's up, Johnny?
Yeah.
How you doing, baby?
He's like, I know the email sounded effing nuts, bro, but trust me.
Yeah. So I'm asking Joel Green about it, who's like my, he said that it's like one piece of the puzzle. And
Mm.
so he does think it can be helpful.
Damn.
That's really
Um,
awesome.
He said it makes sense why it would help. He said you should push for that. He thinks that he thinks there's other compounds that could assist. I'll talk to him later and see if see if there's some other over the counter ish stuff
Mhm.
that people can utilize. I mean, I don't know, man.
We're about to make a bro vaccine for the
Dude, that'd be
coronavirus.
sick.
Hey, mix some kratom with
Yeah.
a little bit of this MCT.
MCT oil and some creatine, and you're good to go.
Good to go. Corona free.
It's like, what's the creatine for? Like, dude, gains.
Kratom, creatine, and some Viagra.
Hey.
I'll be walking around high with a boner, jacked to the gills.
That's the kind of world I want to live in.
Mhm.
I don't know about
Chasing
you
our ladies
guys.
around.
Oh, man.
Anyway, I've been, oddly enough, I used to hate burpees because they would make me feel sick. And I've been ending almost all of my workouts with burpees at the end.
Air 5.
How many burpees?
So I'll do at least 3 sets of 10.
Oh, nice.
And like, so obviously unbroken. And then, so like here at the gym, I'll do a set, walk down and back, do another set. And like in the whole time, I'm like trying to hype myself up, like, okay, just one more. And then, I ended up doing it. And usually like the last set, I'll go for like 15 straight.
Mm-hmm.
And that was why I did lunges the other day, because I'm like, okay, what's harder, like lunges or burpees? I'm like, a previous me would have said burpees by far. I'm like, so if I can do burpees, I can definitely do lunges. And so I ended up doing lunges back and forth like 5 times back and forth. And I'm like, oh my God, this sucks.
Yeah.
So it's just a different type of, pain. But I don't know. Like I said, yeah, burpees, I just kind of just learned to not hate them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that I'm like looking forward to doing them every day, but like the confidence of being like, oh, I can actually do at least 10 without even really struggling.
Yeah.
Usually nasal breathing the whole time. And then, yeah.
That's an
And-
Air 5, by the way, guys. That's
Yeah.
sound for me.
It's weird that the Air 5 actually has sound effects. But yeah, so I've actually been pretty happy with that because, at the beginning of this year, Mark was like, hey, instead of like a PR goal or like a physique goal, like let's just try to feel better, like get your back feeling strong. So part of that is doing a lot more core work. And burpees just happen to fit really perfectly in with anything I'm doing. And now lunges are that. So kind of excited about lunges.
That's sick, dude.
hmm
Sweet.
Cool.
We should go see if In-N-Out Burger's open.
It is open. I think drive through and take out only.
They don't care. They're not
Them and
concerned.
Starbucks.
Yep.
Well, Starbucks is letting people inside, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just bold. It's very
See,
bold.
a lot of companies are just like not shutting down until
Mhm.
they're going to be forced
So,
to.
yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I hope In-N-Out doesn't shut down. I haven't been there in a while, but man, it sounds
See what
good.
their hamburgers are all about. Oh, so I cooked up a chuck roast last night
Uh-oh.
Mm.
from our peeps over at Piedmontese,
Mm.
and somebody told me, like, so they said, hey, with some of these things, you should sear them first and then throw them in the crock pot. Well, I started searing this thing, and this thing was a monster, super thick. And I'm just looking at it. I'm like, man, that looks really good. Like, maybe I shouldn't throw it in the crock pot. The crock pot meat just turns into crock pot meat. It unless the meat that you put in the crock pot is different meat, it relatively tastes the same all
Yeah.
the time, especially because, like, I don't use a lot of ingredients. I only put, like, bone broth in there, So
In the crock pot?
yeah, in the crock pot.
Okay.
I put bone broth or salt or something like that. So I sear this thing up on both sides, and then I kind of even put it on its sides. And I'm just looking at it, I'm like, man, that looks like that looks way too good to like throw in the crock pot.
Mhm.
It's kind of a tragedy to have it die in the crock pot. So I was like, I'm going to throw this bitch in the oven. I threw it in the oven for about 15 minutes or so, and the thing came out perfect. I felt like I was home by myself, so I felt like I was like, you know, experimenting in the kitchen and like messing around with stuff, and just, you know, my wife's gonna come home and be like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I'm gonna be like, "I don't know," but yeah, I was just in there working it out, figuring it out, and it came out really, really good. So
You take a video of it?
I did. I seared it on both sides, and then, like I said, I seared it on all the edges and everything too. I seasoned it pretty good, mainly with just salt. You're not supposed to put shit that can burn on there unless you want it to be burned and like crusted on there, like pepper and stuff. Some people like that.
Yeah.
I kind of like that flavor a little bit myself, but like I didn't. I just put salt on there, and then once it was in the oven for a little while, I then threw some other seasoning on there, the seasoned salt and some of that stuff, and it was fucking awesome.
You know what we should call that, Mark? A quarantine creation. This is
That's what
we-
it was. Yeah.
Yeah, this is what we got to do since we're all stuck, right? And
I like it.
you're not eating at home as much. Let's start something. Let's start our hashtag quarantine
Yeah,
creations,
you got
right?
things that you created because we're stuck.
Yeah, yeah. If you get that
Pretty good.
cookbook out and try some shit out, tag us and hashtag it quarantine creations, and let's see what you guys come up with.
I like it.
I'm in agreement.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm gonna see what I can come up with tonight. I don't know what it's gonna be, but it's gonna be something cool, or it's gonna end up horrible, but I'll still have to eat it. Who knows?
Yep, and I had some crock pot meat this morning, really good. Some Piedmontese as well, just because like I just have a good amount of it, so I was like, hey, I need to, you know, I
You
need
need
to,
to start getting through it.
I need to put a lot of work in for it. So it was delicious as always.
Yeah, I think I'm off of the sliders
What
and,
happened?
and
Andrew?
on to just their full on regular size patties.
Oh,
They're so damn good, and because the rain was around, and I was just like, fuck, dude, I really want to turn on the smoker, but like it's just not gonna happen today. I don't remember the last time I pan fried a hamburger patty, but it was insane. It was so damn good. Like, again, all it is just salt, and then I did throw some cheese on there eventually. But just the hamburger patties by themselves from Piedmontese are really freaking good.
I need to open mine up. I've only been going through my New Yorks because I like the New Yorks, but I still have hamburger patties
Dude,
in there.
trust me, you're gonna be blown away. Like, it's really
Yeah, every time I get a hold of that ground beef that they have, it's freaking amazing.
doesn't make sense. Somebody at the shit, I knew I was gonna forget, but somebody at when we did the seminar in Columbus was like, man, I just put in a big old order for all the ground beef at Piedmontese, and in my head I'm like, oh, dude, you should got some steaks, like really take advantage of it. But dude, now I'm like, oh my gosh, it is really freaking good.
How do you guys like to cook your ground beef? I'm just curious because like I told you, I'm a simple fool. I just put it on a pan and fry it. But I feel like I should be more creative.
I don't think of any other way. Like, there's really no point.
I use
Just
the
ground
pan for
beef.
a lot of stuff. Like I even I don't do it so much anymore because I have like a griddle type thing that I can just throw everything on. But when I was at my other house, I used to always just even cook my steaks in the pan. And people are like, why are you cooking your steak like that? I'm like, I don't know. Just works pretty good. I'd usually just throw down like some leftover like bacon grease. I'd dump that down there and I'd put that on the pan, let it get a little hot. And then I just, sear it up on both sides and then cook it until it's done and throw some salt on it, maybe some butter. And it's amazing.
All right, I don't feel so bad now.
And then hamburger, like, in a pan. Sometimes putting a lid on it can like kind of make it a little different. Just, putting a lid on there, especially if you have cheese, you kind of like, really cook the cheese into it. Some people sometimes cook their hamburgers in the oven, but I personally haven't messed with that before. But that can be like a fairly different flavor. But I don't know if I could figure out the timing of that correctly.
I haven't used my oven in so long.
Well, yeah,
Might
with the
turn
air
it into like a
fryer.
meatloaf, meatball, freaking hamburger. You know?
Yeah, no, no oven hamburgers for us, but sometimes potatoes for like the fry type of feel. But the air fryer is so good for potatoes.
Yeah.
Like just diced potatoes, and then like if I measure out like, oh, I'm gonna have 250 grams of potatoes, and it's like, holy shit, this is a lot. It's great.
Chris Griffin convinced me to buy an Instapot, and I've literally used it once. I think I'm going to really figure out how to use that thing.
I think it'll be just like the air fryer situation where.
You think it's just like an air fryer?
No, I'm saying like how you had one and you
Yeah.
never used it, and then all of a sudden, like every day.
Yeah.
Because what he tells me is like you can take like a chicken breast
An
from
Instapot is
frozen.
kind of like a crock pot, right?
Kind of like a crock pot, but it doesn't necessarily air fry things too, because it can do the crock pot thing, but can also there's something else. It's like pressure. It can pressure cook things.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Were you laughing at me trying to figure out what this?
Because I was
See,
like,
pressure.
he's not talking about pressure cooking because that's very obvious. It's an instant pot.
Yeah. So I'm gonna experiment with that thing.
Oh,
Figure out
boy.
some cool stuff I could do with it.
Yeah. Anyways, okay, we were just talking about the absolute best beef in the universe. I said on a podcast, I think today, the one that got published, that aliens and humans both agree it's the best, hands down. You guys seriously need to give it a go. Head over to Piedmontese.com. That's PIEDMONTESE.com. At checkout, enter promo code Power Project for 25% off your order. And if your order is $99 or more, you get free 2-day shipping. Check out the Power Project Deluxe box and the Jacked in Tan box. Both have some of our favorite cuts. Like you get like 13 or 18 different cuts in all of that, plus ground beef. So it's definitely worth it. And then you get 25% off. And then at a time like right now where like I went to Costco, it was completely empty. Like there was no ground beef. There was steaks. I got steaks, but I really wanted ground beef. And I'm like, dude, what the heck? So time right now, you don't want to have to deal with any of that. Plus crowds are insane. Just have the food or the meat delivered straight to your door. And that's what you get at Piedmontese. Ka-chow.
Yo, by the way, guys, I don't know when is this podcast live?
This is live right now. I'm going to have to re-upload because the internet connection was dog crap earlier. So, but yeah, it'll go up today-ish.
Is that when you were like,
yeah, exactly. Sorry, I didn't know if you guys saw that.
I was reenacting Andrew's like
Well, it completely went out. Like there was no internet. Like Facebook
it's like
completely
the higher
shut down.
you put your hands up, like the more
It'll
that might help
you know?
the reception. Maybe
It could. Do you guys know if it doesn't help?
it may have helped. 'Cause
See?
it's working
It's
now,
working now. Yeah.
Can't remember the last time. I remember back in the day that used to work with certain phones.
Oh yeah,
It
Right?
still works.
reception.
It still works?
Of course.
Oh shit.
I don't know. Maybe.
What I was gonna say
Stand on the
though,
roof.
Yeah.
Yo, y'all need to go listen to that episode we had. Not also with Corey Gregory, because that's why we've been talking so much about lunges, right?
Walking lunges forever.
Listen to that episode, but then JL, oh my God,
Mm-hmm.
please go listen to that episode that we just had with JL. Because that's why you see Mark rubbing his chest in such an interesting way, right? He's like going in between his boobs and going down, and then he's going to probably touch his
What
ribs.
else could fit in between his boobs?
I know what could fit. This pen.
Wait, so that's there? Who is the guy with Larry Wheels? You see that guy? Like that guy's jacked as
Andrew Jacked, the black
Yeah.
guy? Yeah, oh my
Holy
God. He's so...
that guy's resting like beer on his like pecs and stuff. I
you know
mean,
he can do the splits, right?
Yeah, he's a freak.
I don't understand. Like, was he a gymnast or something?
I was
when
like,
he
who's this
younger?
guy? He's way bigger than Larry Wheels, and then he's like squatting all this weight and shit. I was like, what?
He's strong
A
and he's like...
freakier version of Larry Wheels in some weird way. I mean, he's not as powerlifting strong as Larry Wheels is, but
He has like
makes
just...
a hell of a bodybuilder. Shit.
Yeah. He has like an insane... Look at that picture with him flexing next to Larry. Like,
His
he's...
stomach is wild, man.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
Oh my God.
You see? Like, he's just...
Wow.
It makes no sense. Andrew Jacked is jacked out of his mind.
Wild, man. Wild.
Yeah. And he can do the splits. That's why I'm jealous. Like, he can do everything.
Damn.
Andrew Jacked. What's up, bro?
Dude, the symmetry.
Yeah, bro. Like, there's...
Oh,
I
like,
wonder how
what
far
is
he wants to
that?
take bodybuilding. Like, is he trying to go to like the Olympia stage, or because
Maybe
he's
trying to be like insta famous.
Oh.
yeah. Well, he could compete on any classic physique stage and wreck people. What the hell? That makes no sense.
And I think none of the pictures even do him justice, because like a couple shots I saw him like when he's in comparison to like other people or next to Larry Wheels, it's like
Mhm.
really the wild shit where you're like, what? Doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah, man. But it's really dope. He's super strong. He moves well. He's super just. I'm curious like what his childhood and stuff was like, because when you hear him talk, I haven't heard him talk in a while, but when I heard him, it's like I think he's from there, like, or he was. Where are they right now?
His stomach looks crazy. Like it's so freaking defined and it's jacked. You know, he's got a jacked stomach.
Yeah.
Yeah, where the fuck is he
crazy.
from? You think?
Where's Larry right now? That place,
Dubai or
Dubai.
something?
Yeah. I think he might have been born in Dubai because he's definitely definitely black, but he doesn't sound like it.
Oh,
So I'm just like wondering
he
what.
sounds like he might have a
Yeah.
different ethnicity.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there he is with our boy, Eddie Hall.
Yeah. Bruh.
Dude.
Andrew, how, man? Teach me, man. How do you do this?
Wow, it's crazy. Have you tried to do a split?
Who's the guy in
I've
the
been trying to get
back?
myself closer and closer, going deeper. So I'm getting there, but it's like taking forever. There's like this last bit that's just
Yeah.
tough. It hurts. But
You probably need to go off to a side, I'd imagine, right?
Mhm.
Like, because most people can't really just go down into a regular
yeah, it has
like
to be
split
like
split. You
to
got to
be
kind
there.
of cross over a little bit. I think some of the stuff from Pavel might help. That's what worked
Pavel?
for Pavel Testosterone.
Oh yeah.
yeah, that's what helped Ron Penna. That's what he was explaining. Remember, Ron's like, yeah, most people can put their leg up here, and he he put his leg. You remember that? It's like, dude, what kind of pants are those that allow you to do that?
Wait, so
Like, hey, now.
okay, yeah, I guess I'll look that up. You're talking about Pavel, he's the kettlebell guy, right?
Mhm.
Okay. I'll look up his I'll look it up. I wonder what he put out because I only know about his kettlebell guide. But
Yeah,
what
yeah.
else?
He's got a lot of good books. He has a book, I think, just specifically about stretching.
I'm getting that today, actually.
Yeah.
Wow. I
Yeah,
don't know.
so it has to do with I think it has to do with PNF stretching, which is resisting against something and then relaxing, resisting, relaxing. And from my understanding, the Russians, they don't really love regular static stretching.
Yeah.
But anyway, he has a lot of great information in there. And I remember Ron saying, if I blew your brains out right here, you all of a sudden would be super flexible if I just shot you in the back of the head.
Ron Pena scares me.
You're like, what?
And he said it with a smile on his face.
What kind of example is that? He's just basically saying your mind is blocking you from doing it,
Just the way he said that, man. If I blew your brains out right now, you'd be able to go into the splits just fine.
Yeah, you're like, but then my brains would be
I'd be
splattered
dead.
all over the place and I'd be dead. I don't want to be dead.
Doesn't make any sense. That's him with Brandon Curry.
What? Dude,
Yeah, why are his
What
shoulders
the
so big?
fuck?
he took an aggressive angle there,
Yeah,
but
sure.
it wasn't just an angle. It wasn't what I was doing to Andrew during the podcast pictures.
Yeah, you literally, your armpit literally swallowed my whole body.
You were trying to stop me. I had to do something.
I'm
about
like,
it.
yeah, I'm trying to stop you. Gosh.
Look at his shoulder, yo. His shoulder and tricep. It looks like it's photoshopped, but it's real. Like that's real. Wow.
Where can people find you, Andrew?
When we're not talking about dudes, we usually talk about a couple things here and there, but it's at I am Andrew Z on Instagram. Please make sure you're following the podcast at Mark Bell's Power Project, at MB Power Project on TikTok and Twitter. We are on YouTube. Obviously, if you guys are watching this now, Facebook, LinkedIn, all over the dang place. Thank you, everybody that's been rating and reviewing the podcast. Helps us out a ton. Anything else? Any links or anything we talked about today will be in the YouTube description or iTunes show notes. Nsima, where you be?
At Nsima Inyang on Instagram and YouTube. At Nsima Inyang on TikTok and Twitter. Start doing those 10-minute squats, by the way, people. Okay, Mark.
At Mark Smelly Bell. Yeah, and I completed my first 10-minute squat the other day with my boy Nsima. Our little sound effect there for our air slap. It actually felt really good later on in the day, as I was moving around and stuff. And I think maybe, was it that same day? Yeah, I think that same morning is when I did a pretty big squat and my knee was feeling a little funky. And then throughout the day, my knee started to feel a little bit better. And it just felt like a lot of the stuff around the knee was stretched out enough. And I used my Hypervolt a bunch, and that helped a bunch just to kind of loosen up some shit in the shin. Anyone that's got beat up knees, a lot of times there's a lot of crap in your shin and a lot of crap in the surrounding areas around the knee, and there's not really a ton you can do for the actual patella tendon. I mean, you can kind of rub around in there, but it'd be super painful. And it's not a great place to do too much stuff too, because you'll just irritate it. And you want to try to like open up the quads a little bit, maybe open up the hips a little bit, maybe the hammy a little bit, but mainly the quads and the shin. Anyway, I'm at Mark Smelly Bell. Strength is never weakness. Weakness is never strength. Catch you all later.